Player Weekly Q&A webinar. We're going to get started here in just 1 minute, but before we do, if the one person who is attending could confirm that both audio and video are working, and then we can get started. Ooh, we got another person joining. Will is saying, yes, both are good. So who else is online? We got Will, and also there's only 2 people attending this week. The number on that keeps dropping, which is concerning. Welcome to the other attendee as well. So obviously we've confirmed that both audio and video are working. So I'll just run through the motions for everybody who's watching the replay in case that anybody missed it and is curious about what happened. Weekly webinar call where we answer questions from users and gather feedback for future improvements of WooPlayer, or provide training covering advanced use cases of video in your business, as well as showcasing new stuff that we've been working on, is what this is. My name is Peter, and I am the product manager of WooPlayer. The replays are available both on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/WooPlayer, as well as on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/WooPlayer, and we welcome you to, at any time, visit our product portal, which can be accessed in the application simply by clicking on this little documentation and support icon, and here clicking on submitting and voting on ideas. And there you can see the stuff that we're planning on doing, stuff that we are considering doing. These are all the ideas which have been contributed by other WooPlayer users and are in the queue for gaining momentum and priority, where other people are also sharing their use cases on that idea. And of course, you can also submit your idea for both the WooPlayer team and other WooPlayer users to contribute, so that way we can get an understanding of how valuable that would be for adding it to the WooPlayer features or modules, or whatever your integrations, or whatever your idea is. And also, if you want to stay up to date independently, you can always come over here and click on recently launched, where you can see the update of all the stuff that we've been releasing. And also, quick note, if anybody, in case someone hasn't, we've also released the updates for the previous months, which I think covered the period from February onwards. There should have been a pop-up in your application for the release notes from June. Just in case it hasn't, do encourage you to open that up. It's the first article available on blog.woolplayer.com, and the link for that is available in the chat box for everybody to review all of the new features which we've added, all of the bug fixes and polishes and improvements that we've made to the application, as well as what we're upcomingly working on. So take a look. I think there's a little bit of everything. There's a little something for everybody in there, and hopefully you'll find something useful for yourself as well in there. All right, great. I think that's all of the housekeeping that I wanted to address. We got Stephen joining as well. Good morning, Stephen. Up to 4 people now. All right, cool. So the format of the webinar is straightforward. At any time that you have a question, you can just drop it in the chat box, and we'll just start answering them in the order that they come in. You can ask questions, you can make suggestions, you can just ramble on thoughts about WooPlayer or improving the WooPlayer experience, and either the product itself, or either our approach to onboarding you as a new user, what you think would be more optimal, what are some of the concerns that you have as users of WooPlayer. Anything's up for discussion. It's not only a features and bugs question and answer session. It's anything WooPlayer goes. Why not? Anything personal goes as well. If you have any personal questions as well, or are interested to know anything about anyone in WooPlayer, just shout out. I'm just rambling my mouth off until we get a first question, which if it doesn't happen, that's well and fine. In that case, I'll just thank everybody and do my best to get more people on the call next week, so that this is a bit more of an engaging session. We got something from Will. Will needs the access code feature. I'm only going by what you said about the most upvote in the prior webinar. That's a good point, and I didn't say most updates for the. Let me see that. Where is that? So WooPlayer Q&A. No. Where did I have that link? I'll just grab it from the application, so we can get that up and take a look at it. So here are the ideas. And there we have under consideration, we have the video access code management, which absolutely, as Will points out, has the most upvotes by far from any other feature. Notably, should be noted that some of these things have been sitting here longer than other things, but albeit it's the most useful thing that WooPlayer users have indicated that we should include. Now, the problem with the access codes is that it turns WooPlayer into something that's a hybrid of not only managing your video content and interactions with that video content and integrations with that video content, but it becomes sort of a membership platform for access management, which is something that we are very reluctant to do, because that has a it carries high risk with it, in that it's very likely that it's going to open up a can of worms in that management life cycle. Now that I'm sort of talking about this out loud, we might be willing to do is do some sort of a closed beta thing for this, where we're able to sort of test it out very basically to see how it would work. But it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell because it's a very comprehensive thing, and these. So just to clarify something, these 20. The number 20 does not indicate necessarily only the number of people who have upvoted this. These are the specific use cases that people have outlined for this. So there's 20 sort of variations of how people would use the access code management. Some people want to be able to sell them through WooPlayer. Some people want to have them valid for up to 3 unlocks. Some people want them valid in specific time periods. Some people want them. Now, the problem with accommodating all of those different scenarios is that each of those scenarios adds a block of code to the application. And once we start adding a block after a block of code to the application, we're making the player itself heavier to load, which means that you're going to have a slower loading player for a significantly slower loading player with all of those different code blocks. That's going to be probably the largest module inside of WooPlayer that's going to add the most weight to the end package of WooPlayer. That's going to be impacting the performance of the player. Hence, addition of something like this, I sort of need people screaming about this, and I don't need two people screaming about this. I need a number of 200 here, and then I need to hear this constantly about how this is going to add value. Because if it turns out that there's only if it only turns there's also sort of a bias about things that people want are usually things that they might want or think that they are useful but have no application for them. So if it turns out that out of these 20 people, only 5 people end up using these access code, but we've made the player so much slower to load for 5 million other people who are not using it, then it's a pretty bad product decision. And that's kind of what's laying weight on this and not allowing it to move, is that there's certainly not, in my opinion, been a valid enough of a push and momentum for signifying how much value there is in this. And from our perspective, this is something that's usually not handled by a video player. This is something that we offer some form of protection, such as basic password unlock and whitelisting domains and being able to do different things with how you protect your content, and all that's well and fine. But this goes into full-blown management of users and their accesses to the application, which is, again, as I said, something that makes WooPlayer a hybrid of a membership platform and a video player, which is something that, at least so far, we feel should remain two separate things. From our perspective at this point, without additional momentum behind this, we feel that if this is important to you, you should have a separate membership platform where you manage access for your viewers, and you should have a separate video player which can communicate with that access. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have some sort of integrations with that membership platform. That's a completely different story, but thus far nobody has requested integrations with membership platforms. That will be the direction in which we will be most likely to go, if anything. So hopefully that answers that question in a bit of a extensive manner. Will gets it. Good. Dave is saying, how can I best use Vue for do-it-yourself clients? So the assumption is, I'm assuming you are acting as some sort of an agent / agency in reselling Vue Player, and do-it-yourself client wants to have their own video produced by themselves or a third party and uploaded to Vue Player, et cetera, et cetera. So how can I best use Vue Player for you? And ideally, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is you wouldn't want to use Vue Player at all. You would just want to handle the marketing behind it and just sell to them. I'm assuming you, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I know Dave. I think Dave has a white labeled solution already implemented. Thus, it's as long as you have an established marketing funnel where you are selling whatever the white label is, Dave Player, and that's working, I don't see why you necessarily need to have any interactions with Vue Player at all. If it's something that sells, it's something that people are using, that's great. That's a space which is heavily unexplored in Vue Player. Just fishing for any thoughts, and that's what I was getting at. That's a space which is severely underexplored in Vue Player. That's the white label module is something that could drive a lot of things in Vue Player, again, if it was highly valued. I know this sounds like a bit of a paradox of a cat and mouse game where I say hey, until we see something proven, we're not gonna work on it, where the counter argument could be, well, until you work on it, people are just not gonna use it. But it no, no, no. But I'm just saying we don't necessarily need people to use it, and we don't necessarily need people paying for something. We just need to see momentum of people behind it, ideas, thoughts, conversations around topics to develop. And the white label platform is something that as I mentioned, carries so many things with it, from the ability to, so for example, wouldn't it be great if you could grab some sort of piece of code from Vue Player and paste it on your site, and there people can process payments for purchasement of your sub account, and that's going to handle the subscription renewals, et cetera, on that end. And if that's accomplished, so for example, so we developed a payment form, whatever that the display of that is, just a payment form for a subscription model within Vue Player for a white label client to pay a subscription to the master account. If we develop something like that, so we have that code base set up and all of that works, what's preventing us from just saying, hey, let's just move that from the client master relationship and move that to the viewer regular user relationship? So why couldn't regular viewers sell subscriptions, for example, to their Vue Player channels if we already have that solution developed? So and that's just one thing. Everything from uploading videos from third-party sources and integrations with that to just the list is endless. But I'm saying as what we really need is to see momentum behind those ideas, and I think white label solution carries a lot of potential for handling very, very interesting use cases, which on one hand we as a product should be promoting and asking for feedback on, but on the other end we're just seeing no active utilization of, or at least feedback on, those topics that we currently do have. So maybe that's the paradox of stagnation in that entire ecospace, and I do believe the responsibility does lie with us in promoting that conversation, which is why we have this webinar, to exactly and fishing for thoughts is I love fishing for thoughts much more than I do answering, hey, I clicked on a button to become purple and it's slightly less purple than it should be purple, and answering that type of a question on the webinar. This webinar originally was much more envisioned as fishing for thoughts and brainstorming ideas type of a solution. So I'm more than glad for somebody to just name out a keyword and I'll just ramble off on the topic, and then we can have a meaningful conversation around that. Hopefully not just for that session of the webinar, but hopefully those conversations, by having other people join in those conversations, will also carry additional momentum. So that's the idea behind that. So thanks for just fishing for thoughts. That's great. I absolutely love that. All right, cool. Do we have any other fishing for thoughts topics, or any other questions, or bugs which need to be solved, or anything else really? If not, give it maybe a few more seconds. We had participation from 2 people, 3 people just sitting in the background twiddling their thumbs. Rick is in the house, yo. Hope Rick last week got drunk on the beach for 4th of July, if I remember correctly. Hopefully that went fine. Think he's sobered up by now. Will is saying, play buttons, how far are we? Play buttons, how far are we? The play buttons, how far are we? I keep repeating myself. I'm just trying to understanding a little bit better. So the new play buttons have been released a while ago. Recently launched the improvement of play buttons and player controls. So that went out in March of 2019. It's been covered extensively. Maybe I'm missing something. Play buttons, how far are we? Maybe a little bit of a clarification on that. Well, fourth was great. Really pleased to hear so, Rick. Um, we were just wrapping up because we were running out of topics for discussion. Rick is a ideas man for the conversation topics on this webinar. So if you want to jump in, Rick, with any topic that you would like to have discussed, you're more than welcome to. Will is asking, can images be inserted in buttons? Yes, absolutely. I'm surprised Will is asking this question. Will is a webinar regular. So yeah, so you can come over here to, I don't have a good example ready, so this is gonna look a little bit weird. I don't know what image I'm gonna find. So here I have a button, and there I wanna replace it with an image, so I can just come to colors and style, and there I have all of the new controls for the button, all of the new positions, all of the new animations for the buttons, the cool displayed the duration for the button, etc., etc. So all of the cool things for the buttons, and one of those is the image for the button. So here I can, let's do this disco ball. So I can insert this disco ball as the WooPlayer button. I'll just need to make it a little bit bigger, and I'll make it a square, and I'll eliminate the border for that button. So now we have the disco ball play button, which is great. So I think that answers Will's question with regards to the images in buttons. Maybe I didn't understand it still. Been in surgery. Hopefully you recovered well. I don't know why I'm remembering you almost attending almost every webinar for the past couple of months. Wishful thinking, I guess. I don't know. Dimor is saying a good feature would be to know if we have a video embedded in Vue dashboard. Sometimes you want to delete videos but don't know if it's being used. Dimor, you do have that capability as well. So what you could do is I'm not on an enterprise account, am I? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am actually. So you can come, Demori, you can just come over here to my audience and click on reports. And there you can see, so for example, you can see all of the videos which are playing on a specific domain. And for example, there you can say, give me only the last 7 days, and there you will see only the videos which have played in the last 7 days. And you can filter on that by either the video or by the domain that it's playing on. So for example, I can see all of the videos which are playing on this testing site, which have been played on this JS Fiddle site in the last week, and I can see how they're performing on that domain and so on. So I think that gives you an insight into knowing which videos are playing and which are not. And you're always welcome to customize these intervals either by, hey, I don't think I have had anything played today. Yeah, that failed because I had no videos played today. Or you can set custom dates. You can use either the presets or the custom dates to get overview of all of the videos which have been playing as embedded or as via the watch page in your account. Excuse me. I will share this, Dimori. This is a good resource because the reports does so much more than that. So reports. That's how you spell reports, right? And it gives you the ability to automate these reports, to have them export to Google Sheets, all kinds of cool stuff. So I'll just share this with you as a resource maybe to look at tonight, and then provide any feedback on if that accomplishes your use case or not. Can Vue logic be applied to hybrid video storage? What is Vue logic? Maybe I'm not understanding that. What's Vue logic? FYI, pCloud 2 TB hybrid storage has 4th of July special. Anybody should take advantage of that. As you know, pCloud works great with Vue Player, and you're able to utilize the videos hosted on pCloud inside of Vue Player. So, hey, 2 TB, I don't know what the deal is, but 2 TB of storage for videos is a pretty awesome deal. If you have tons of videos but have not been watched for a long time, if you have lots of videos but some have not been watched for a long time, but you don't want to delete, how can we use if you have lots of videos but some of them have not been watched for a long time, but you don't want to delete, how can we use the reports in that situation? Well, depends on what you want to do with those videos. What would you ideally want to do with those videos if not to delete them? Uh, you would use the reports in, I guess, understand, depends on your use case. For example, if you're running ads to a lot of pages and you see that videos are just not being played on a particular page and you have calls to actions in the video, you can use the reports to identify that those videos are not being engaged with anymore. Hence, you should not be promoting those pages, and subsequently, you'll be saving money and be focusing on the pages which are converting, which is great. Vue logic, like superimposing a CTA question, therefore interrupting the video. Yeah, all of 99% of Vue Player features work with hybrid videos, especially calls to actions, locks, gates, all of the player controls, customization, styles, etc. All of that works with hybrid videos. I think there's a very short list of what doesn't work with hybrid videos, and I think we have that outlined in the article benefits of hybrid hosting. And there at the end we have limits of hosting videos externally. It's not possible to download those videos. The videos can be encrypted. The bandwidth of source provider will be used for streaming. Subtitles cannot be loaded, and external 360 videos are not supported. So those are all of the limitations of hybrid hosting. Everything else that Vue Player has, such as CTAs and numerous other features and modules, are supported with hybrid videos. Anxiously awaiting on your August promotion. Yeah, just to fine tune that expectation. It's as we're getting closer to setting the official date for that. It's either going to be mid-August, which is more likely to happen, but there's been talks about moving that to the very beginning of September. So somewhere in that range, mid-August to beginning of September is what we're looking at for that promotion, when we're going to have the lifetime deal available again, as well as discounts on the subscription licenses. So we'll do a shout out just so everybody's aware of that promotion. And if luck has it, we won't have to do a shout out. You'll just find out about it from the sources, which should inform everybody about it. All right, cool. Rick needs a lifetime enterprise deal. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? That will be a great thing to have. Unfortunately, that's never going to happen. But nice to imagine. It's good to have dreams. All right. Running out of time here. I want to thanks everybody for Thanks, everybody. My brain is dead. I want to thank everybody for joining this week, and hopefully we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll have more of these fishing for thoughts conversations and ideas floating around. If you have any topics of conversation which should be covered or would like to have discussed, you don't have to bring them up during the webinar. Just ping us at support@woolplayer.com at any time during the week, and we'll gladly either assist you with your concerns and help them have alleviated, or start meaningful conversations around them. So thanks again for joining, and hopefully you have a great remainder of this week. Bye.